Hello everybody. I have this 2004 Toyota RAV4 with the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. It has developed a very nasty sound when it's running. It's kind of like a harmonic rattle sound. And I'm going to start it up here momentarily and show you what it sounds like. Now, I'm almost 100% sure what the sound is. I'm going to start it up here so you can hear it, and then I'm going to tell you what it is, or what I think it is, and then I'm going to replace the part, and then we'll see if that's what it was. 1 second, let me start it up. Alright, so as you can hear, it sounds like total crap. So I'm pretty sure what that is the bearings in the water pump. And I have a new water pump. Let me shut this off. Alright. That sounded horrible, didn't it? So I have a new water pump. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna be the third or fourth time I've replaced the water pump on this particular vehicle here. But I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we're gonna dive into this and get her done. But this rattling started probably a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. It was real faint, but now that I've driven a few places and put some miles on it, it's sounding really bad. And I'm not going to drive it anymore till I get this done, because my fear is the bearings are going to seize up, or, you know, there'll be just a catastrophic failure, and I don't want to be stranded. The water pump is super cheap on this. I ended up ordering one off Amazon. It was like 22 bucks. Probably should have got, you know, a better one, but I think this one that's in it now, I bought at AutoZone. And that was, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 years ago. And so, I mean, even getting a more quality one, I guess, isn't even the ticket here. Just the bearings are a failure point in them. But anyways, we're gonna get into this, and the first thing we got to do is drain the coolant. And let me get a bucket to catch the coolant, and be right back. All right, got my pan here. I'm gonna kick it underneath there, and the drain for the coolant is right there, that little thing with the butterfly ears on it. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, that right there. So you need to open that up, and I mean, you're gonna get coolant dripping off that splash shield, but I'm gonna try to catch as much as I can. So let me open that up and report back. Oh, just real quick here, you're gonna wanna open your radiator cap. Otherwise, the coolant isn't gonna come out very fast. So, all right, let me crack that open and we'll start draining the coolant. All right, well, kind of losing some, but getting the majority of it. I'm gonna try to reuse this. I mean, I literally put this coolant in about a year ago. So I'll pour it in another container through a rag or something, just filter it. But I'm gonna let that drain for a little bit and we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now while I'm waiting for that coolant to drain is try to break. There's 4 bolts on this pulley for the water pump, and while the belt is still on here and tight, I can just crack those loose. So, you know, if I take the belt off first, then, you know, there won't be nothing holding tension on that. So I'm gonna try to crack these loose. It's a 12 millimeter, and let me do that and I'll be right back. Alright, the next thing we have to do is get a breaker bar, and I believe it's a 19 millimeter socket to get it on that bolt right there. That's the tensioner. So we can take the serpentine belt off and then take this pulley off. Sorry about the focus. There we go. Take that pulley off. I've already broke those bolts loose, so they should just hand turn off of there. Let me get a 19 millimeter, be right back. Alright, there's not a whole lot of room in there to get on that, and it is a 19 millimeter socket, and I'm using a 1/2 inch ratchet. It's a breaker bar is not going to work because the head on it is too big to attach it. So I'll just put a breaker, or not a breaker bar, but a pipe on this for leverage, so I can, you know, torque this back and release the tension on the belt. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I believe you pull it this way towards the front of the vehicle, and yeah, and it should give me enough slack here to get the belt over the alternator pulley. Yeah, sorry if you can't see all this, but almost got it. It's like I need to get that ratchet to click one more click, but I got it off here. So we'll go ahead and release that back, and I'll show you what to do next here. I'm probably going to take that pulley off the water pump now that we got the belt off. Let me do that. See if I can position this camera to where you can see. Be right back. Alright, I'm going to take this off here now. Tight fit there. Okay, so got the belt off the pulley, and you don't have to take this belt all the way off. I'm just going to get it out of the way enough to do what I'm doing here. And I've broke these loose before I took the belt, so these should just be hand tight now. Sorry if I'm covering the view, but there's literally nowhere else I can put this camera. I got one of them. I'll take the other 3 out, and you can turn it now to get it positioned where you need it. Take these out. Got two more. And I bet if I wiggle this around, I'll feel the bearing slop in it. But one more to go, and then this will come off. All right, so this should come right off. That's the pulley for the water pump. Oh yeah, I can feel side to side play on that. So let me take this light out of here. You're just gonna have to find all the bolts that hold that on. I'm trying to think if this alternator needs removed, because it's been a few years since I did this. I'm gonna investigate here and see if that alternator needs unbolted and pulled out of the way, but I'm not sure. Be right back. Okay, after further investigation, I am gonna take the mounting bolts. There's a wire that runs along the front of the water pump. I'm gonna remove the brackets that hold that and get that out of the way, but it looks like I should be able to get it out of here without doing anything to the alternator. So I'm gonna take these brackets loose so I can get that wire. I don't know if that's the crank sensor, can't remember, but I'm gonna remove the, looks like 10mm bolts, and we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll see how many bolts are on the water pump and get those removed. Should pull right off. Right okay, what I ended up doing is there's 3 bolts that hold that wire for the crank sensor. I believe it's for the crank sensor. And I took those. There's 2 bolts, 10mm, and then one 10mm nut. And you can see that's loosened up. And now what I'm gonna do is I took this is a 14mm for the alternator, and then underneath, I won't be able to show you because it's way under there, it's a 12mm socket. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the alternator, and just so I can move it forward a little bit. It won't have, I highly doubt it'll have to be removed. Like I said, it's been a few years since I've done this job. And I'm gonna take those 2 bolts out of the alternator, scoot it forward a little bit, and then move that wire, and we should have access to all the bolts on the water pump. I'm gonna do that right now. I'll be right back. Okay, that worked out perfect. Now I can pull that wire out of the way, lay it over the pulley on the alternator, and you probably won't be able to see them all, but I mean, there's the water pump. Not sure the bolt sizes. It looks like 10mm. Sorry, my camera won't focus. So I'm gonna start loosening all the bolts around the water pump, and should be able to pop it off. I'll be right back. All right, I believe I got all the bolts out of it. There's a couple studs in it with a nut, one of which holds that wiring harness on there, and another one here that holds the wiring harness for the crank sensor. Now I got all the bolts out. This should come off now. I mean, I may have to pry on it. Nope, it'll come off. So there goes some more coolant. I've seen people do this from underneath. It's not necessary. You can do it from above. There it is. I'm going to set this down and show you the slop in it. Let me set it on the floor here. Can you hear that? That's bearing slop. It wasn't leaking, and it was just making a lot of noise. So I'm just waiting on Amazon to deliver my new water pump. But in the meantime, I'll clean that surface up, the mounting surface, and have it ready for the new pump when it arrives. So I'll be back when it arrives, and I'll show you what to do next. Make sure you smash that like button if this is helping you out. I'd very much appreciate it. All right, I'll be back. All right, the water pump just came. I'm gonna get it ready to install here. I'm gonna put a little bit of gasket sealant along this channel to hold this O-ring in here, so when I go to install it, it doesn't pop out of the channel there and get pinched, or you know, something to where it isn't going to seal. So I'm gonna do that real quick here and then get it ready to drop in. Be right back. All right, I got that applied on the rubber O-ring just to aid holding it, you know, into the channel there. And I got the mating surface on the side of the engine cleaned up nice with a little steel wool. So this is ready to put on. I'll be right back. Okay, fortunately, you know, there's two studs that stick out that go into two of the holes here. So, you know, you can get this thing lined up and set on there without it, you know, without having to try to get a bolt in it. Carefully lower it into here, into place. Hold on 1 second. Well, I'm gonna have to move the camera just for a second here. Okay, I got it set in there. It's setting on the two studs. I'm gonna go grab the two 10mm nuts that go on there, and then the rest of the bolts, and I'll get that snugged down and start getting everything else put back in place. But let me grab those bolts and nuts and I'll be right back. All right, don't forget, one of the nuts and one of the bolts is what hold that wire that I was talking about before I disassembled this, that I believe is the crank sensor. So make sure you put that on the brackets and all that so it's secured. So I'm going to do that right now, get those two, and then the rest of the bolts that go around the water pump. I'll get those on and snug down, and should be able to start adding the water back and put everything back in place. The pulley that goes on here, and we'll finish that up. But let me tighten these down, put the rest of the bolts in. I'll be right back. Okay, got all the bolts in on the water pump snugged. I got the brackets that hold that wire, and I got the two bolts that go in the alternator, the 14mm and the 12mm. So now I'll be ready to put the pulley on the water pump, and I'm just gonna finger tighten the bolts on it until I get the belt back over the you know, over the rest of the pulleys and tension on it, and then I can snug those two, or the 4 10mm bolts down. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab the pulley and the 4 bolts, and like I said, get those finger tight just for now, and I'll be right back. Alright, got the water pump pulley on. Bolts in it, just finger tight for right now till we get the serpentine belt installed. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to get my ratchet out with the 19mm and get the belt put on, and then we'll snug those 4 bolts down for the water pump pulley. Be right back. Alright, got the serpentine belt on. Those 4 bolts on the water pump pulley snugged tight. And now we are ready to put the plug back in the radiator. Let me grab that. It's right down at the bottom here. Alright, got that in. So now I can start adding coolant. And like I said, when I drain this, I said I'd be reusing it, and I ended up putting a clean rag over the top here and pouring it into this jug, because I changed this about a year ago, so I'm gonna reuse what I can. And all right, I'm gonna fill this up, get it as full as I can get it, and then I'm gonna start it and hopefully purge the air out of this, and that'll be a wrap. Not too hard, you know, just a little bit of time and patience, and got her done. So let me fill this up and we'll fire it up and see if it makes that horrible rattling noise. All right, I'll be back. All right, got the antifreeze all topped off. Everything's buttoned up. We're gonna fire this up and see what it sounds like. Here we go. Well, no more rattle. Sounds pretty good, huh? Nice and quiet. So, that was the problem. The bearings in the water pump were shot. All right, well, if you guys found this video helpful, I would very much appreciate if you could smash that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel, and share this out if you know anybody that's having similar issues with a 2001 to 2005 Toyota RAV4 with the 2.4 liter engine in it. Share this out to them. It might save them a lot of money and take care of the problem. So appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.